Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about Tesla stock a little bit more because as you all can see, we had another huge run up today. And this was kind of that surge that I was talking about in yesterday's video, and it was titled Tesla stock surging soon ? And I have to admit, in that video, I was pretty bullish on Tesla, especially upcoming with this week that we have right here, right up before the split on Monday. Keep in mind that the stock won't be trading on a split adjusted basis until Monday, I believe. So like I said, I think that is a huge point in time where we could start even seeing more growth after the split. So right now, the important thing to consider is that the movements we're seeing with Tesla, this is all from investors that could have invested in Tesla before the split. The people buying it right now are people that had access to it already. So just keep in mind that after the split actually happens, that's when we have people finally able to get in on the stock. So the important thing, like I said, is to consider so far all of this movement that we've seen, all of this hype is revolving around the potential growth after the split occurs. So we've seen a lot of movement already because people see this potential. But the main reason for all of this hype is because people believe it will grow after the split. So there's a lot of opportunity here for growth to occur even after the split. So like I said, all of this movement is huge in itself, but the thing to consider is that it's only kind of like half of the story here, because the main reason the stock split news was so popular is because people realize, of course, share prices are going to get a little bit cheaper. As we know, it doesn't change anything in terms of the value of your position or anything like that, but it just makes it more affordable per one share of Tesla for those that don't have access to fractional shares. So like I said, half of the story here is regarding around the investors that already have access to it that are causing the stock price to grow in value because they're buying it right now and expecting it to go up even more in the future after the split. So just the hype alone pre-split is only half of the story. And so that's really like a testament to the potential growth we could see even after the split. Now, of course, there's always that thinking where people are factoring in a bunch of things early here. The split could already be factored in, but still that doesn't change the fact to me that there are people, 100% this exists right now, that want to get in on Tesla and don't have access. Logical thinking simply just points to that direction. There's people right now that would love to get in on Tesla and they simply can't. So even the growth that we see beforehand up until this split occurs, that only is part of the story in my opinion when it comes to the potential growth of just the split in full spectrum and across the board over time. So I have to admit, in yesterday's video I kind of wanted to hint at a surge happening, but of course, as we know, nobody really wants to become like the outright bold person and make a really bold claim and then be wrong on it, of course. So that's why a lot of people don't give direct number predictions. That's why a lot of retail investors like myself don't give, specific price targets by specific dates and things like that, just because the stock market is so hard to predict. But honestly, in yesterday's video, I wasn't super vocal about it. But internally, it was like that gut instinct where I felt like we could see some huge movements between now and maybe just a few days after the split. And today is just one of those examples. So as always, if y'all enjoy these videos of me just talking about Tesla stock, please make sure to smash that like button. That's one thing that I like to do on my channel. Sometimes I just like to get on my channel, turn the mic on, and record what I'm thinking. Even in the past on my previous channels that I've created content on, and the money that you see right here in my portfolio are from those channels, one thing I've always loved to do is just simply get on the microphone, talk about what I'm thinking legitimately, and instead of like having to script things out and talk about key talking points, I just like to keep it real and get on the microphone and just talk about what I'm thinking. That way it's nothing really super pre-planned and it's actually just my legitimate thoughts in the moment. So of course, there's some mistakes here and there where I may say things that don't mean exactly what I'm trying to say, but still I like to keep it real in that sense where, like with these videos, I just like to get on here and talk about Tesla stock, why I think we're seeing such a huge movement today, and just with many situations like this, I've done it in the past. So at least so far with the videos that I've done on my channel, all of them are pretty much off the cuff, just because I like to do it that way. That's kind of like the way that fits for me, because I'm kind of just one of these people that like to keep it real and give my honest perspectives on things. So like I said, with that being said, if y'all enjoy these types of videos, please make sure to smash that like button. But like I said, we saw a huge movement today. Tesla stock has hit an all-time high once again, And if we look at the past week especially, it's just slightly higher than this peak on August 24th. That was at 2112, and now it's at 2170. So like I said, all-time high, almost at $2,200 over this past month. It's so crazy to think that this stock has added $690 on the share price at plus 46.63%. It's actually just amazing to see that growth over just this past month alone. And keep in mind, if you started at this point right here, it would be slightly more than a 46% gain, considering that the starting point for the month is a little bit above this point right here. So just in this time range from August 11th to today, we've actually seen more than a 46% gain. So that's really impressive to see with Tesla. And so, like I said, it's hitting all-time highs. I think this stock split hype is just happening more once again. And if you want to do some comparisons with similarities, we can check out Apple stock as well. That is one that has continued to grow even up until now. I believe today, yeah, it's near all-time highs. Of course, we had this peak on August 24th, but today is near all-time highs for Apple as well. And what is the similarities in comparison with Apple and Tesla? Both of them recently announced a stock split. Now, I believe Apple actually announced their stock split on July 30th, which was the day that they released like the earnings announcements. They beat expectations and things like that. So the stock split drove Apple up tremendously. And if we look at just the comparison of starting on July 30th, as you can see right here, it pretty much surged after this stock split announcement, and ever since then, the stock has still been surging, reaching all-time highs. So even with Apple having a really big head start in terms of just how many days beforehand they announced the stock split, keep in mind Tesla announced their stock split on August 11th, which was 11 days later after Apple, yet both of these stocks are supposed to trade on a split-adjusted basis on August 31st, I believe. So the important thing in this comparison to realize is that Apple stock is continuing to grow. Even though it was announced like 11 days earlier than Tesla, it is still continuing to grow even in present time, nearing all-time highs right now. So if we kind of just follow that logic, of course that's like an anecdote that may not directly apply to everything, but if we kind of follow that logic and note the similarities between Apple and Tesla with the movements after the split being announced, if we note those similarities, then you could kind of make the inference. Now keep in mind, this is not like 100% facts or written in stone. This is just pretty much a back of the napkin prediction, and like I said, don't take any of this as financial advice. This is not to be considered financial advice, but one could make the inference that we could still see Tesla growing even over these next few days up until the stock split, and I don't think that's too far out of reality. If we see a couple more days of Tesla growing 4 to 5% this week, I honestly wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, we only have 2 days left. Today is Wednesday, so we have Thursday and Friday. There actually may be some hype on Friday compared to your typical uncertainty and confusion that happens just because we know that upcoming on Monday, that split is going to happen and we could see some big movements. So the idea here is that just looking at what Apple has done so far and the fact that the stock split was announced 11 days earlier than Tesla, yet it's still continuing to hit all-time highs almost, then you could kind of make a similar comparison with Tesla and say we could possibly see more growth out of this week upcoming, so tomorrow and Friday especially, and then we might see some growth after the split happens on Monday once it starts trading on that split-adjusted basis. So right here and now, I will give like a price target prediction for what we could see out of Tesla over like this next week or so, but when I say this, don't think it's written in stone, don't think I'm 100% accurate or anything like that. I don't want people to take my word as the truth. This is just my personal opinions and perspectives on things. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we see Tesla near about $2,500 by maybe Tuesday or Monday of next week. Now, I know that's kind of crazy because I only have like 3 to 4 days of a time window for this prediction to actually follow through if it does. And if tomorrow's red, then that becomes a little bit less likely for that prediction to be accurate. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see that $2,500 number just somewhere near there by Monday or Tuesday of next week. But I do predict that there will be some sort of pullback sometime soon after all of this hype from the stock split dies down. But in my opinion, that pullback is some opportunity there to buy the stock at a discount price because as we know, we have a bunch of more events coming up soon. We have September 22nd, which is Battery Investor Day. That's supposed to be huge. And then we also have S&P 500 inclusion And if that happens, it's going to drive up the stock even more, in my personal opinion, because once good news keeps being stacked on and stacked on, it's pretty much hard to stop the train at that point when it's nothing but positive news. The company is in a great position. They're expanding, they're scaling their business right now. But I want you all to realize as viewers how bold it is of me to say that price target of $2,500 by maybe like Tuesday or Monday of next week. I don't want everyone to take this super serious or anything like that, because like I said, this is an off-the-cuff prediction, and I haven't even really done the math on that, like how much percentage that would be in gains, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see something near that, just because of all of this hype around the stock split, because of the people that we could see buying Tesla stock after the split happens. And so we have that buildup happening. Like I said, Apple is still nearing all-time highs, even though it was announced way earlier than Tesla for the stock split. So I feel like we could see potential growth out of both Tesla and Apple over these next few days for this week upcoming before the stock split. And so, like I said, I know the stock has run up so much recently. It's actually pretty expensive right now if you think about the value of it just compared to a few days ago or a few weeks ago. But I think long-term investors are finally starting to realize the potential right here. And for even investors that are more like short-term investors that are focused on like the short-term gains, I think even those investors are starting to actually look at Tesla and see what's going on. And that may actually help them transition to long-term investing when they're typically used to short-term investing. So we could see this transition happening, because I think short-term investors are still going to look back at Tesla and realize that there's a lot of potential for growth in the future. And even though they're chasing these short-term high gains, that they're realizing you can actually get pretty high gains per year on stocks like Tesla. I mean, if you look at the past year for Tesla, it's up 915%, almost 916%. So even those that are chasing short-term gains for some big profits actually may be checking out Tesla and thinking, okay, even if I invested in this long-term, that's a huge amount of gains and probably even more than what I could get trying to short-term trade. So I think this is really changing a lot of perspectives on investors right now as people start to look into it. And people that would normally write off Tesla as just a joke or it doesn't make sense, I think it's finally getting them to start to look at it and think, okay, why are analysts starting to adapt their price targets? Why are people still becoming bullish on this even at this price tag? Why does the stock keep on going up? So I think with this, it's kind of forcing them to check out the stock and the company and do some research. And once they get farther into that research, they're like, whoa, this actually made sense this whole time. I made the mistake of listening to all of these analysts on CNBC last year and things like that. So it's getting people to do their own due diligence, and I think that's really awesome, and I'm definitely interested to see how this plays out in the long term. But anyways, I just wanted to share this video with you all, give you my perspectives, and like I said, when I make a price target estimate of $2,500 by like Tuesday or Monday, just don't take that too serious. I want to emphasize that in this video. Sometimes I will give out price targets or predictions of if I think Tesla will grow. Like for example, I'm extremely confident Tesla will grow tremendously in the long term over these next 10 years. But as I always say, with short-term predictions, it's a lot more difficult to predict accurately than with long-term predictions, because as we know, things can happen between now and Monday or Tuesday of next week. Whereas in the long term, I can generally say with a lot of confidence that Tesla will make people a lot of money in terms of the share price growing. So with that $2,500 estimate by Tuesday or Monday of next week, that is risky for me to say, because it's pretty risky in terms of just like my reputation for me to say something like that. And I'm okay with being wrong. I'm just making a rough estimate, like I said, but just take note of that. Don't take it too serious. But anyways, hope you all enjoyed this video. Please make sure to smash that like button. And also feel free to sign up to Robinhood and Webull in the description below. If you sign up with my referral link, then you'll get some free stocks. And also if you use my referral link for Webull right now and deposit $100, you'll get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400. So that's pretty much nice passive income. You can sell the stocks and take that $100 right back out. So that's a pretty nice opportunity there. So feel free to check that out. Hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.